What's up, mortgage coach community? I'm kind of pumped, extra pumped about this interview because one, I'm at Sales Mastery, getting ready to go to an event in the physical world, and I have Hunter Marckwardt on Zoom right now. This is being broadcasted in our Facebook group. It's going to be on YouTube, and I didn't even know, like, I thought, like, when Hunter and I were gonna have this call, he was gonna be coming to me in the physical world. We were gonna be doing it. And here we are, still doing some awesomeness. And it's just like the convolution of, what's real world, digital, physical, it's just so intermixed. So I'm pumped because we live in a world now where the real world no longer, like, if pre-COVID, if we said the word real world, that would have meant I met you in person. The real world was what happened in person. And we are, on the other side of COVID, there's no delineation, in our mind and in our memory. The real world is just a combination of digital and physical experiences. What do you think of that, Hunter?
I think those are pretty deep thoughts by Dave Savage. But no, I do agree.
I feel a Sunday thought coming.
Yeah. My buddy Dave has officially lost his mind at Sales Mastery. No, I'm just kidding. No, but I mean, it is true. Like, you literally, you forget on whether or not it's like you said, like a voicemail, a text, a video, a conversation. Yeah, it's kind of hard to put it all together, but I guess it's over communication, which isn't too bad.
Yeah, well, so guys, that's not the topic at hand. The topic at hand is I've interviewed now Hunter about his Sunday thoughts a number of times. He doesn't do it every Sunday, but when he does, it's gold. It's leadership from, a man who's a dad, who's a husband, who's a mortgage professional, and who's a good friend to a lot of people. And he takes those lessons, he tells stories, and every time I listen to one of Hunter's stories, I'm like, I'm thinking, I'm learning. I'm a better man, I'm a better dad, I'm a better entrepreneur. So this last Sunday, I'm just going to paraphrase a few notes that made me like, Hunter, let's get on Zoom and talk. And I remember him talking about how hard it is to be in the mortgage business right now. So, a lot of pain, a lot of hard work, not always fun. And then I remember, like, community, like, when it's tough, when it's hard, it takes a community, and the community is even more important. And so that resonated with me because I believe in community. You guys all follow the Mortgage Coach YouTube channel. Community, many of you are part of our Facebook group. Community. I'm going to be having happy hour with a bunch of folks, creating community. I'm going to be doing a walk. If you're at Sales Mastery and you're watching this, 6:15, meet me in the lobby, and I'm going to do a 45-minute walk with whoever wants to walk and talk together. Community. And we need to do these things more than ever. So, Hunter, why don't you paraphrase the article, and then what are some lessons learned, and what's your message to this mortgage coach and sales boomerang community?
Yeah, so thanks, Dave. And I always know if I do a good Sunday thoughts because you asked me to jump on here with you. So no, I wrote about.
By the way, guys, only happens a couple times a year.
Yeah. Thanks.
You laid that one up for me.
I know. Sorry. So it's funny, I don't have it pulled up right now, but I wrote about community and in just the mindset right now that, a few different things went through my head in writing it. One is, yes, I mean, like, I think of, like, the coaching, and many of us are in different coaching programs, like Coach for the Core. It's like, I think back to the, 12 years that I've been in it, and how many tactics can I get, and how many just different things can I learn. And the truth is, I've got all the, I want to say I probably have all the tactics certainly written down in my own head, whatever. And it is about the community and the environment right now. There's just a herd mentality of negativity, and across the board, when you have a community of people that actually want to get their way out of this, as opposed to kind of just wallow in the, in the mud and the thought that things are never going to get better, whatever. It just gets old, right? And so it was that part of the community, and then also just interviewing and communicating with some business partners of mine. I did an interview last Friday that it was supposed to be just an open line call for me, and one of my great business partners, Kate, who's a couple $100 million producing realtor, suggested that one of her friends jump on the call, who's another couple $100 million producer, is one of the top 5 agents in San Francisco, that she jump on the call. So first of all, by the way, just lesson wise, I mean, it's like went way out of my comfort zone to have a open line call on messaging to business partners just to see who would show up. But Kate ended up telling me, she's like, Hunter, you've got to talk to Ruth. So I called Ruth on Thursday morning before the call, and she just explains to me that she's also just kind of had her head in the, not a head in the sand, but she's been in the dumps. I mean, every big realtor these days is, you know, they're on the listing side of things. They don't focus on buyers as much anymore. And she basically said, I dropped my ego, I got back to the basics, and I went back to what made me successful in the first place, which was dealing with buyers. And, you know, her attitude, her energy, her messaging, basically she went from having a, you know, whatever year to last month closing or getting into contract 11 buyers for $22 million worth of real estate. And I just think that, you know, the more, when you go back to community, the whole point of, I guess, Dave's talk today is we have to surround ourselves. It is hard out there right now, period, but we have to surround ourselves with people that are looking for solutions, that are looking to have a positive impact in this market. And there's going to be a ton of people that not only survive this thing, but you know, lay down the seeds right now. To me, that's how I think of everything. And I know these messages have been told over and over again, but it's like the seeds that we're laying today are either positive or negative based on the actions that we're doing on a daily basis. And when I'm talking to the right people that are in my camp, that are in my community, I have a better chance of laying down good seeds for the future. And this too shall pass. And I just want to make sure I'm in a position to succeed when it does. So that was the point, Dave.
Yeah. And I'm going to pull up the letter. So, by the way, are you still letting people, if people email you, do you still?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, no. Hey, the more the merrier. I'd love people to get Sunday thoughts.
Yeah. And so, you know, kind of netting it out, he said, you know, so he tells a story and then he nets it out. You know, be intentional with the company you hang around with and the people that pump energy into you, or by the way, out of you. And so one thought there that hit my mind as he said that was, guys, everybody, you have the Mortgage Coach YouTube channel. Like when I'm interviewing people, these are the most positive energy people, and they're having success right now. So if you're, you know, nothing against Netflix and, you know, the new Game of Thrones, you know, hey, I watch that stuff too. I need a release, but make sure you're pumping one Mortgage Coach video per week. And whatever your favorite Joe Rogan is, you know, I listen to Joe Rogan, I listen to Andrew Huberman, you know, but you gotta, I think, an hour a day of the right information. That's what my head needs. Like I need to listen to, whether it's a podcast, audiobook, something that, you know, helps me learn, that pumps positive energy and personal development into my head. By the way, before I go through, you know, all three of these, anything you want to add to that one?
Well, I would just say in the morning.
I do it in the morning.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all have to.
When I drive too, you know, like for the most part, when I'm exercising, I'm driving, or, you know, it's in the morning. Those are like my three kind of windows of consistent pumping shit that makes me successful into my head.
Yeah. By the way, Dave, I didn't tell you this, and I'm going off course here, but one of everyone, I don't know if everyone knows this or not, but like having a team, like I've gotten away from doing Mortgage Coach myself, and I'm now back into using it as using Mortgage Coach. One of the things that one of my top producing realtors, $400 million producer last year, you talk about there's getting out of this market, there's mindset, there's all these different things, and there's just tactics. And one of the things that I think is most important right now is just pure education and taking understanding with buyers why they're not buying today, like what happened in my market. One of the examples I used, Dave, using Mortgage Coach was and I got this information from my business partner, Dana. It was like, okay, a $2.5 million buyer last year in August with a 3% interest rate today is now at a $2.1 million purchase price. We talked about using the same down payment of $625,000. And I put a mortgage coach together for her and all of her clients that she then shipped out to 1,200 people on her distribution list, talking about these different numbers. And it was like, you take the original purchase price of a year ago, you take the new purchase price, you take the new interest rates. We used new interest rates, but we used the same down payment, showed them basically payments went up about $300 a month in this new environment. But at the same time, you're locking into a purchase price based on 2.1. You're locking into property taxes based on 2.1. You're locking into a lower loan amount. So like all of these different things that are permanent, purchase price, down payment, property tax base, those are all permanent items. The one thing that's not permanent, and I just refuse to say that whole thing with date the rate. I can't stand that whole saying, but those items are permanent. The one thing that is truly not permanent is the interest rate itself. So I just think we have to get used to, like, if I'm talking to a buyer, it's like, okay, so you're going to spend $3,600 more a year currently than what you were going to spend a year ago. But the house that you were buying a year ago is $400,000 less than what it is today. So I think that was my biggest takeaway from this talk that I did with these realtors is better. Like, we have to be true professionals in understanding metrics. We have to understand messaging. We have to understand we have to be a better salesperson than we've ever been, not in a negative way, but to get people. My dad always told me, it's like customer service people take orders, right? Sales people that actually add value are the ones that deserve to be compensated accordingly, because they're changing the way people think about the decisions that they're making. And I think we have a responsibility to help people make responsible decisions, but that's also making people understand that how they're looking at something today is not necessarily the right way to be looking at something. So to just give them different perspectives. So anyway, that was a big thing that came out of my call on Friday.
Look, tell me what you think of this, because by the way, I said, hey, watch a Mortgage Coach YouTube video. And if I was prescribing a couple to you guys right now, and I want to hear what you think about this. This is a first-year loan officer, and I'm going to recommend that loan officers that have been doing this for 30 years watch this new LO. I can't remember, he's going on his 10th month or his 11th month. Did like $1 million in production the month before, like that was his 9th month. And his Ty Kearns, his regionals, like, this guy is amazing. And check out what he did. It was a referral from a realtor, and they had decided they're going to wait a year. So have we ever heard that in today's market?
Yes.
And it was a single, first time home buyer. And he's like, oh, okay, no problem. And then he walked him through renting. Hey, this is, buying at standard price. Well, because he could buy in this market, he could get a seller buy down. So he showed an affordability strategy, which is like, hey, you couldn't do this last year. And, when rates really come down, you may not be able to do this again. And then he reminded this guy that, hey, it's a 3-bedroom house. You could rent out 2 of the bedrooms at $650 each, and you could invest that. And guys, he used a total cost analysis. He called it the rent versus house hack. This guy is going to buy a house now. Like, went from waiting, by the way, first year LO. There's a lot of 30-year LOs that wouldn't have seen this, wouldn't have seen like how to use this house hack strategy. And then you're going to love this one, Hunter. I interviewed Cody Touche, and what I'm going to show you right now, he did call it, divorce the rent. So maybe you're not going to like that, but in his market, rentals at 300, not uncommon. To buy a house and keep a $3,000 payment, so he puts this all the way over here, and that would be a $425 house. And in his market, that's not easy. But he said, you know what, you could house hack, and either buy a duplex or buy, I don't remember if this was someone that would be willing to rent out rooms in their house, or whether this was units. I don't remember that part of the story. But guys, look at this. Look at 5 years worth of net worth at buying now and showing the different strategies. So I don't know, and I don't think it's a coincidence. The most watched video is a video I did with Jeremy. You've heard of Jeremy Fortier before.
Oh, yeah.
Just kind of kidding. And I would say Jeremy did the best job I've heard yet of a loan officer using the date the rate, marry the house, divorce the rent. And I know you don't love it, but Jeremy crushed it. And that's like the most watched interview. It's been 3 weeks and he's still getting hundreds of views practically daily.
I don't love it just because it's like the repeated song over and over again. I just changed the messaging. I mean, the concept of it's absolute, you know, and I think, I mean, to the gentleman that's been here doing it for 9 months, I think for all of us, like in going back to what this top producing realtor said, it's like drop the ego and go back to the basics and figure out how you get people into homes and just having the conversations with them. You know, I mean, I think even up front, whether or not it's 2-1 buy downs, whatever, I mean, all these different things, it's like there's perceived value and there's real value, and they both matter a lot at different times, right? The perception of value needs to be recognized up front by understanding how to communicate with buyers, by understanding what their wants, needs, struggles, concerns are, and addressing those things, as opposed to just sending a loan app over, then going through that and how you overcome those, or even don't overcome them, but put them in a position in the future to buy. I mean, that stuff's it's just invaluable right now. So
I want to share another idea. I don't want to see what you think. So when things are down, number 2, we have to recognize the activities today that will, you know, make the future better or worse. And I think today, every loan officer needs to realize that even when rates do come down, which I do believe they will, hopefully you have sales boomerang and you're going to be getting rate watch alerts. And, you know, like if you're really monitoring your database, you know, you're putting your contacts in a sales boomerang monitor database. But let's face it, even when that happens, people that are in homes and they locked in rates that start with a 2 and a 3, they're not going to be moving up as much. So I think it's more important that as mortgage professionals, we need to go out and create strategies. And so 2 strategies I really like. Now again, being Mr. Boomerang now, I'm always like, hey, how can we leverage data to create opportunities? So let me show you something. I want to get your opinion on this, Hunter. What if, you know, obviously you should be getting cash out alerts, you know, like so that you know every single person in your data, based off your criteria, you know, what's their debt, what's their credit, what's their home, and what's their tappable equity. Like if you do not know this in this market, in the market of the future, let's just say you could be wearing night goggles, but you're not. So you could really know where the opportunities are. Now tell me what you think of this. What if we took graduated from high school and we made it like every time we see one of our clients that had, you know, a child graduate from college, we created a rent versus house hack saying, hey, you're going to have a kid in college, you know, you should be thinking about buying a duplex, triplex, and really starting your college student off where, you know, one, they're building wealth with real estate, they're learning how to manage, like we're bringing that family an idea, you know, like now both my kids in college, and my son, Jack, just a couple months ago closed on a duplex. And he's, you know, we're executing on that strategy. And then my daughter, who's out of school, what if you got a life alert and the kid graduated and you come to him with a house hack idea? Like, hey, you know, family, did you know what it could look like for your daughter who just graduated for college to buy a duplex, triplex, which by the way, my daughter recently bought a triplex. So, you know, I'm doing exactly what I'm saying, but what do you think about the mortgage professional of the future? Like you need to build that into your process. Like you need to start doing that now. What are your thoughts?
I mean, Dave, obviously this was not scripted, our call, but I mean, you know me, I've got Jack, and Jack's at the University of Oregon, and I don't know whether or not I could say this on a video or not, but the reality of it is in-state tuition is a lot different than out-of-state tuition, right? So I'm just thinking for someone like me personally, right, to be, if Jack buys a place in Oregon, Jack lives there, then Jack is no longer paying out-of-state tuition, he's paying in-state tuition. So that, I mean, that's just another level of the conversation. More, I mean, but to your point, understanding our clients and understanding their needs and understanding what their family dynamics look like, yeah, it's massively important. I think, and I do think it's going to.
What are your thoughts about putting that in your database and every high school graduate, hey, let's get a rent versus house hack analysis. Every family that has a kid graduate from college, let's get a house hack strategy over and schedule an appointment to make sure they just know what that could look like.
Yeah. You're providing a level of service and care that no one else is providing. Period.
And it's real transactions.
Yeah.
So by the way, this is the first time I mentioned it kind of passively. I did a call on how to optimize your database earlier today with Bill Hillstad. But this is an idea I just recently thought of, kind of like I interviewed Cody. I personally did this myself. I started looking at the sales boomerang, signals and insights. And I started going, wait a minute, we could systemize this. And so really, this is the first time where I've like got on stage and said, like, guys, this is a hot idea. And then, by the way, playing this forward, what if you had a system and process around all that? You were doing these things and you went to a realtor and said, you know what? Every time a listing happens, I get an alert. Every time a credit report, I get an alert. Every time a kid graduates from school, a family has a new baby, I get an alert. And you told your realtor, like, and this is all the stuff that my team does. And we create these, rent versus own analysis. We create these. Do you think some realtors might go, hey, why don't you manage my past customer database of 300 people? Like, by the way, I know this works, but now you can really start turning your database and your skills at being an advisor into a competitive advantage. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's great. I mean, is this all stuff that I'm embarrassed to say this on our call, but this is what Boomerang does, Sales Boomerang does?
Oh, you don't know what Sales Boomerang does?
No, I honestly don't.
Oh, bro. All right.
Sorry.
Well, I'm not going to go.
We've talked about this. I'm a slow learner.
Yeah. So real quick, I'll give you time me. Let's see if I can do this in 3 minutes. So I mean, our whole mission is to help loan officers have predictable income from their databases. So like financial advisors get it. It's called assets under management. Insurance agents get it. It's called book of business. And we think the mortgage industry can have predictable, consistent income from their database. It's called mortgages under management. And so like the whole formula that we built this tech stack around is that every 100 or every 1,000 mortgages under management could be 100 loans a year annually in any market. Like that is the transactional activity taking place in a database. So most loan officers' database looks like this. And by the way, every realtor's database looks like this. Like even if they wanted to get shopping alerts that, hey, someone ran a credit report, they can't do that. You have to have an MLS license and be a lender to get that. Now, there are, like at Sales Boomerang, we have competitors that can do some of these alerts. So like the, credit pull, we're not the only game in town, although we are the fastest and the best and the biggest, so we do that. But what Sales Boomerang and Mortgage Coach do now is we have all the signals, all the alerts. It is the most comprehensive data intelligence platform around. I mean, like the biggest players invest in us. I can't even say all the names, but I mean, it's the biggest alert platform. And then it auto creates a total cost analysis. So it's like an alert happens, it creates a TCA. So it's like a smart TCA. And like, this is one example of a Sales Boomerang alert where, hey, here's a family that is eligible for cash out. Here's life alerts. And again, I want to leave it at that because every alert you would ever want, we track, and then we help loan officers be at the right place at the right time with the total cost analysis. You didn't know that?
I didn't know that.
Well, you need to get on the Boomerang team.
I know. Well, by the way, it's kind of a lesson, right? I mean, I'm not proud of it, but it's like we've been so reactive on. It's just been, you've got the greatest quote of all time, which is loan officers got out of shape, probably including me. And now, I mean, it's like we need to understand the tools that we have access to more so than we ever have in the past. So, I mean, yeah, this makes sense. I promise you I will understand it more. I'm using Mortgage Coach myself personally.
Well, let's close out with this last bullet point. We have to stay in mental shape. And one thing I started doing recently is sledding, and I've been this whole thing, hey, I need to be a business athlete. That's a thing in mind. Now you told this story about Lisa, who by the way, Jeremy Forcier interviewed Lisa in the Mortgage Coach YouTube channel a couple of months ago, Lisa Wells. So guys, I hear she's a legend. I think I'd met her, but I wasn't, Jeremy took over, did a Tuesday takeover and interviewed her. So go check that out in the Mortgage Coach YouTube channel. But let's close out with your thoughts on this last one. And what is it, because you're a coach, what is it that you're coaching yourself to do? And what is it that you're doing and the people you're coaching around number 3 here?
So I mean, Lisa's whole thing with Oleg, my other coaching buddy, calls it the circus, which is, I mean, you basically, it's 390 calls in 3 days. Lisa did it. And literally she just caught me, at a moment of weakness where I'm kind of licking my wounds on a Monday morning, not really feeling like, excited about the week. And then she texts me that she's going to do it. And then she follows up each day with the results of the calls. And I was just, bottom line is I'm inspired. So when we talk about, like, literally Lisa was the originator of me thinking about community and how grateful I am to have her in my life. And just as someone that we all need to get lifted up from time to time, that helped me. I mean, what am I doing with my individual, with my coaching students right now? Literally, Dave, again, I wish people knew that these things have zero scripting to it. I've got them doing 40 cost analysis to their total, to their top 40 realtors, explaining it literally.
Did you just say that they're doing 40 TCAs?
Yes, to their top 40 realtors on what a 2-1 buy down looks like. I know this probably sounds ridiculous. Everyone's like, I'm so tired of hearing about 2-1 buy downs. I talked to 14 realtors on Wednesday. I talked to this whole group of realtors on Friday. People don't know it. They just don't know what it is. So I think just the education of helping listing agents get buyers interested in buying right now, that's what we're focused, like that's what I'm focusing on right now, is creating value to my business partners. And part of that is just being way better than a simple transactional message to a buyer and to our business partners. So that, I mean, that's.
Now, did you say 40 in a week? 40 in a week, or did you just say?
Well, they
40?
have a 2 week. Yeah, I mean, they have 2 weeks to get their homework. So 40. Yeah. So just because, Dave, what I do think is important is, like, and this is not related to but one-to-one video for me right now is something that I think is just not utilized like it should be. And like, if I send out a massive video to, I don't know, 3,000 people, honestly, I might not get a whole lot of people opening that. If I send you a video that says, Dave, please open this, I made this video for you, and it starts off with, hey, Dave, it's Hunter. I wanted to get this out for you and your clients so that you can begin to understand exactly what a 2-1 buy down is, how it works. I've done this analysis for you. If anybody has any questions on it, I mean, I go into more detail than that, but those types of things, I think the rifle shot as opposed to shotgun shot right now is a bigger impact. People think it takes more time, but I think it's just a better, it's a much better use of our time, and you have a much better chance of gaining momentum with them. So that's what I'm focusing on.
So guys, don't leave. Stay in the hunt here. And Mortgage Coach Innovation Lab team, we need to make micro content around this. I mean, Hunter Marckwardt, who is an absolute legend in the core, mega producer himself, a coach to some of the most successful loan officers, is saying that he's telling the people he coaches that he loves and cares about and whose success he's responsible for, 40 TCA seller buy downs to 40 realtors, 2 weeks. So Hunter, I don't know if you watched this interview.
I did.
By the way, was this part of the inspiration for that idea?
I mean, yeah, watching Nicole just talk was motivating for me. I mean, I've been thinking about her content for the last couple months. It was exceptional. And I also love what she said, by the way, because I believe in it wholeheartedly, is at the time of the interview, like, she had been like, she was going to close 1 or 2. So when I talk about like the perception of value versus the reality of it, I mean, it's like, it goes both ways. I do believe that the 2-1 buy down is a really important product and tool. And at the same time, we're just providing value and hope and to our business partners, which is what she's talking about. So
yeah, it wasn't, to his point, it wasn't about how many seller buy downs was she
Right.
closing, although more are closing now.
Yep.
But I want everybody to hear this, because there's two kinds of videos you can create with Mortgage Coach. You can create one in BombBomb, which I think everybody, if you can't do that, you do not have a key skill in today's market. And then she also is creating some in Mortgage Coach. And then, which is a key skill. And if you can't do that, then you're missing one of the skills of success in the market. And then this one, and here, tell me if you agree, this is the homework assignment. Find 40 agents that you want to target. Don't just identify the agent, identify one of their properties that's been on the market for 3 weeks to a month. And then what you want to do is you want to create a seller buy down for that agent based on a specific property. And you're gonna, you notice that her video is like 2 minutes and 40 seconds. And you're gonna do the video in advance. And then you're gonna get a meeting with them and you're gonna pitch it. Or you get a meeting with them, you pitch it, and then you put the video on it. But the idea is it's a highly targeted, highly specific, and it's not a conceptual how I'm solving problems in the market. Hey,
Yeah.
I got an idea on how you might be able to accelerate the sale of XYZ address and or not have to reduce the price as much. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's amazing. And two, like talking to Kate, this massive, she only does listings. It's all she's talked about, only doing listings. For us to, if you created that content, one of the things I said to Kate today, because she's an amazing salesperson, is her issue is the offers that are coming to her are coming from buying agents that don't have her sales personship, if you will. So that she then needs to go back to the buying agent to say, hey, have you thought about a 2-1 buy down? The likelihood of that realtor then saying, I don't know what that is. My lender hasn't talked to me about it. And then that comes back to us is, I think it's a huge opportunity for us. So yeah, Dave, I think it's massive.
First of all, I've taken more than 20 minutes. So thank you, Hunter, for giving this much time to the community. I hope anybody watching this got real value. I personally felt it is a valuable conversation. Give it a like if you got value.
I wonder if I can laugh at Dave right now while he's doing this and he's frozen. I don't know if I'm frozen or if he's frozen.
This call.
Dave,
there you are.
I don't know if I got frozen or you got frozen.
I think it was probably my internet because I'm in a hotel. I have a favor to ask.
Yeah.
Because the idea that you just had where, you're telling your coaches, your people you coach to do what you're doing, it would be really valuable if you did a little takeover for the Mortgage Coach channel. If you jumped on Zoom with 1 or 2 of your coaching clients and you were doing this for the Mortgage Coach YouTube channel, like I'm going to put it in our channel, but it's almost like a Hunter Marckwardt takeover. And if you don't know how to record you know how to record a video on Zoom, don't you?
Yeah.
So will you do like a little 15 to 20 minute lesson on exactly what you're teaching realtors, but do it with 1 or 2 of your students and do it in, like you're speaking to the Mortgage Coach channel, and I'll put it in our YouTube channel. It'll just be a gift to our community.
Sure.
Okay. Huge value, brother. Hey, we all need community. How can people get signed up on your Sunday thought? Like, what do they do?
Just hunter@ccm.com. Bridget will get you on the list, and that's all you need.
All right.
I probably need to figure out a better way to do it, but it is what it is.
I appreciate you, brother.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate it.
Take care, everybody. This is a wrap.